Oh, he had the mic on me. That'll be
he's got
for
a mic on you?
Ginger.
Oh.
David, you didn't just tell him to sit down and shut up?
So we're thankful for this opportunity to be able to share about our trip to see Charity. As Pastor was teaching in Acts chapter 9. In Acts chapter 13, God asked the church there in Antioch to separate Paul and Barnabas for a specific ministry that he had planned for them. And one of our desires as we went over to visit Charity was to be able to see the ministry that God has directed her to. And we really enjoyed that. Later on in Acts chapter 13, Paul and Barnabas come back from their trip, and they're able to give a report to the local church there in Antioch. And so we're going to give a brief update on our trip. We have much more presentations or much more slides that we've taken, but we just have a few here. So we've tried breaking it up a little bit into different categories. And I think I turned that on. There we go. And so we thought we'd just start with Charity's apartment and the town where she lives. So this is her apartment. She's standing there on the balcony, just so you knew that was her, because this is actually how high she's up there. She's up there on the 3rd floor, 48 steps to get up there. Not that anybody would count that. Up and down, the same thing. But she has a 2-bedroom apartment up there. This is the view from her balcony. And so she's thankful to be able to have this green space out there that she's able to enjoy. This corner of her living room and dining room is where her office is. That's where she does most all of her work in there. Her kitchen is a small kitchen, but it meets the needs that she has there. And then we even had the opportunity for her to be able to play the piano for us. You can see back behind her is that office area. But she does a lot of hospitality there in her room. She has a lot of people over from the church. She has people over, her co-workers over. And she goes to a lot of other people's houses. She's really involved a lot in the hospitality. This is a park. She's actually in the town of Mérignac. It's a suburb of Bordeaux. So we walked to this park. You can see I was going to call it a penguin. Peacock. I got it with a P at least. These peacocks were all over the place. Somebody said there was like 15 peacocks there in this park, just roaming wild. This one was putting on a show. I'd say it was for us, but it's actually for the peacock that's up in the little planter box right next to it. And it was dancing around and everything else. They also had this white peacock. It was up on the building nearby there, but it was very unusual to see an all-white peacock. At least I'd never seen one before. We were able to go to a market that first Saturday that we were there and go around. This is down in the center of town of Mérignac. And so they had all these different things that they were selling there. And so we walked around there, picked up some things. Charity was our translator and translated everything and enjoyed our time getting to see the town that she lives in. They even have an Aldi there in Mérignac, so we were comfortable there with that. This is the church there in the center of town. It was in that same area there where the market was that we were able to go see. And this is a beach that's, I think it's less than an hour away from where she lives. And so we were able to go out there. She said we would enjoy the sunset there at the beach. And there's a bike path from Mérignac that leads all the way out there to the beach, but she's never made that trip yet. She would like to. And then we took this train into Bordeaux. Bordeaux is where she had her language classes. She spent a lot of time there in Bordeaux. And so we wanted to go look around Bordeaux and be able to see the things there. This is a big cathedral there in the middle of town that we were able to go into. This is one of the old gates, and it had a bell tower on top of it, one of the gates that led into the city of Bordeaux. And the people, they had markets and things, little restaurants all over the place there, people just sitting around enjoying their afternoon. I did have to get some ice cream. For some reason, I did have to get some ice cream while we were there and had to get evidence of that. But as we had an opportunity to actually be in two of Charity's services, one of them, we landed at 9 o'clock Sunday morning, and their church service started at 10:30. And so we were in that first service, but Ginger has the names of a lot of the people down better than I do. And so just turning the button there, she'll be able to, she'll share those ministry there.
I wanted to mention that Charity has two main ministries in France. One is Eclat Musica, and that is a ministry that provides music, as in like sheet music and things like that, as well as teaching and training to the people of like-minded faith in France. And she, in fact, this past weekend, they had a conductor's training time for the whole weekend. Haven't heard how it went, but I'm sure it went well. They sent out music to everybody, and they all had to practice, and then the leadership in Eclat Musica would critique and help just so that they can better be equipped to minister during worship time at their church. So we didn't get to see any of that. We got to see her church ministry. And this is the overall building. It's not a church. It's a restaurant in the bottom level, and the top level is, I don't know, some kind of therapy or something. And this is that little section there where you see the blue and white sign is where they have the church. They rent it on Sunday mornings. That's the church sign that they, take out. David's got it circled there and put in. And these are the people that Charity, some of the people that Charity works with. This is Ed and Sylvia Christie, and they have been missionaries over 25 years. They're in France. They're practically French. They're not. They're Americans. But their children live there. Their grandchildren live there, so they said they would probably retire there. But they are BMM missionaries as well, and they have graciously mentored Charity. Speaking of mentoring, she had the opportunity of being in different churches and trying to decide which one the Lord would have her minister in, and this is where he led her. And they've been very gracious. So they meet in a restaurant. The restaurant sets up little chairs for them, and the church brings their equipment to be able to sing. The man leading the singing this particular Sunday, this was the second Sunday we were there. The first Sunday, we weren't in jet lag, too bad, but we weren't quite all there. But this Sunday, and they take turns. This man up there, his name is Alan. He's actually from Guatemala, came to France sometime. And by trade, he's a Spanish teacher, but he's a tree trimmer because he says it makes more money. But his heart is for ministry. He would love to be in full-time ministry, but he is not fully supported. But he leads the singing one week, and then he might preach the other week. And Ed Christie, who basically oversees the whole ministry, but he'll lead singing one week and preach another week, kind of like that. On the piano in this picture is Sylvia Christie, and Charity is helping with the singing. I don't know. There's no sound. Do I take care of that? So that's a little bit, miss some of that, but anyway, so she helps with the singing if they need some help. This is, I believe this is Ed up there. Pardon? Oh, is that still Alan? Oh, I can't see it. There we go, there's Ed up there preaching, and Charity is sitting in the back translating for us, which was very nice of her. Her French is, as far as we can tell, is very good. She gets kind of tired by the end of the day, but with all the translating and everything, but it's a blessing. It was a blessing to get to know the people. This Sunday they had a fellowship, which is kind of nice in a restaurant. So they have tables and everything. And so some of the people, so Julian is the man in the white sweater. He's a fairly new Christian. He's a single man in their church. And then across from him is Willie, who is Chinese, and his wife does come, but she was in China this Sunday. And then Ed Christie next to them. And then these are some other folks in there, Dominique and his wife. And I think I don't know, no, that's Sylvia. Another lady that's in their church and man are from the Ukraine, trying to kind of start their lives over again. And then Alan is over there by David. Alan's wife is named Rochelle, and she is French, and they have 2 little boys. And they're about the only family in the church that has a husband and wife and children. So many of them are praying for their husband to be saved, or their wife to be saved, or different things like that to come and go to church with them. These are some of the kids. Elowen is a teenager. He's the one with the vest on. He comes with his mom. They're praying for his dad to be saved. I think this is his mom there, Karine. And this is a potluck table, like what we're having. So they're true Baptists, too. And the other man, he's in his 20s, and he is newly saved. And his name is Enzo. And he comes from a very rough background. And Charity says, you know, the Lord is working in his life and his heart, but he has a lot to overcome. And so this is where they meet on Sundays. It's the only time they have the building. So in the midweek, they have a prayer meeting via Zoom. If they have any get-togethers, it's usually at the Christie's house or Charity's house. Charity does a lot with teens, which they don't have a lot of teens. They had a few more, but a Key family left their church, moved out of Merrimack, or this isn't in Merrimack. This is about 20 minutes from Charity, where she lives. But anyway, so they lost that family. That was a big loss for them. They are having some other missionaries will be joining them, I think, this summer. And they are a young family. They're also BMM missionaries, and they're really looking forward to having them come. So they're really excited about having a building of their own. This is the building that they're in the process of purchasing. Now, that tall building you see in the back is not part of the building, because as you probably know, everything is close together unless you're out in the country. And so it is, the main auditorium will be right inside the doors there, and then there's kind of a hallway in the back with some classrooms. You can't really see that there. There's a little bit of a courtyard to the right, and then there's a house on the other side of the bushes. But they feel like they can put a little playground there, and it will be adequate. I think they said it would seat about 80 people, which would be a real blessing for them. So be praying about that. They have everything approved, which is a real blessing, if you know anything about the red tape in France. But now it is, I don't know what you would call it, up for post for 2 months. And the people in the community have the opportunity to say whether or not they're happy to have a church there. And so be praying for the next 2 months that they will be happy to have the church there. And then they can move forward with, they have plans already of how to renovate the building and the parking lot and things like that. Thank you. Thank you.
We already have all the funds to purchase the building. The purchase price was 250,000 euros. Right now, the euro to dollar rate is $1.18 to €1. And so they've already been able to raise all the funds to purchase the building. They're in the process of still raising. They need 60,000 euros to do the upgrade, to do the remodeling on the inside. And so they're in the process of raising that. Charity says the church is still actively giving to this fund. They are excited about this potential of having this new building. And so they're looking forward to these next 2 months getting by, and hopefully the community is willing to allow them to purchase that in that. As we had opportunities of spending time with Charity and her co-workers and being able to see the town, we also did want to do some traveling around some. And so these are just some of the places where we had gone, and then some of the food that we learned. I did want to show you this. This is their stoplights. Their streets are so narrow, so the majority of the time the stoplights are not out there in front of you. So you see the red stoplight at the top. Underneath that sign down below is another stoplight that you can see from inside your car. So you're basically looking right out at it because you're stopping right at the stop sign. So we also learned the right way to use your turn signals in roundabouts, because roundabouts are all over the place. And so if you're planning on going into a roundabout and you'll be exiting directly on the other side, that's considered going straight. And so you don't use your turn signal going in, but you do use your turn signal going out. Now, if you're going to go 3/4 of the way around or farther around, then as you enter the roundabout, you turn your left turn signal on, because you're going to let everybody else know you're not going to go straight. You're going to be continuing to go around. When you get around over there, then you turn your right turn signal on that you're exiting. So you learn all that. They have roundabouts all over the place there. And so you're constantly going through those roundabouts. So we had an opportunity. I had a desire to go to Normandy while we were there in France. The only time we were in Paris was going through the airport. We didn't get out there. But in Normandy, we stayed at this chateau. It's Chateau Saint-Pierre Bec. It's a B&B. We stayed there for 2 nights. The tallest portion of this chateau actually got bombed in D-Day invasion. And so that's how close we were. If you're familiar with where the Rangers came on board at Pointe du Hoc, that's about 5 minutes away from here driving. So they were in that area. And this is actually looking at Omaha Beach from a German bunker. And so we were down inside there, able to go through that. Just up from Omaha Beach is the American Cemetery. And we were able to go through the cemetery, and we went through a couple other museums while we were there. But it took us a little over 7 hours to get from where we were at in Bordeaux up to Normandy. The main reason for that is they have a lot of toll roads over there in France. And so we did not take any of the toll roads, so we got to go through a lot of the villages on our way up there. On our last day, we had stopped somewhere else, but that final day's travel down, we decided we'd just take the highway and get back home a little quicker. Well, it only cost us a little over $40 in tolls to get that shorter distance down there. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to get there quick and you didn't budget the time, then you pay the money. Otherwise, you can enjoy the travel going through the towns. But there, we were able to see this abbey. This is Abbey Mont Saint-Michel. And we didn't actually get to go into this one. We were able to walk up to it. But we didn't get to go into that. That's up there in the Normandy area. And then on our way back, we did see this chateau, Chateau du Cinosso, something like that. I tried writing it phonetically, but who knows if I even said it right. This was also known as the Ladies' Castle. This castle actually goes over a river, and we were able to go into this facility here. They have beautiful garden areas around there. They had actual flowers, real flowers inside the chateau. And then we were able to all be there together and enjoy that. We also were able to enjoy some of the meals there. When you enjoy a meal there in France, the experience is more what you're going for. You're not going there to quickly eat your food and leave. A lot of times they'll offer a 3-course meal, a salad, the main dish, and dessert all included in one price. Sometimes instead of the dessert, it's coffee that they'll offer you at the end. But if not everybody at the table orders all 3 of those meals, maybe you just wanted the entree, but somebody else at your table ordered the salad, well, the salad will be brought out. Once that person is finished with the salad and they pick it up, then they'll begin working on your entree and bring all the entrees at the same time. Once you finish your entree and they pick that up, then they'll come back and they'll bring the dessert or the coffee or anything else that you had. So these are just some of this was a salad. This was my entree. I had kebabs that were just hanging there over the plate and enjoying that. Charity had some kind of a charcuterie board that had meats and cheeses on this platter that she was served at this particular restaurant that we ate at. We did have to enjoy one outdoors. So this is one down in the Basque area of southern France. We went down there to the foothills of the Pyrenees to be able to see the beauty that was down there and enjoy another part. This was only about 3 hours away from where Charity lives, in the southern part. So we did get to go on a hike up into the mountains there. The first part of the hike was all up hills. After that, then we enjoyed ourselves. You had beautiful views all around there. This trail was actually called the 3 Crosses because they have 3 crosses up there at the cemetery. We were actually heading back down to that area on that. You can be able to see some of the areas. This is a monolithic church. Now, I had to look that up because I knew what mono was, but I didn't understand the lithic part. But this is a church built in one rock. And this is the largest one there in France. We were able to actually go into this one. This town was Saint-Emilion. And this is in the wine region, just a little over an hour away from Charity on the other side of Bordeaux. But we were able to enjoy this. You can be able to see this is one of the churches there that we were able to go into. And you can see the vineyards all around there, just very typical in that area, just on people's properties and where they would work from there. And the beauty that we were able to see. France is a beautiful area, at least where we were at. We're limited in where we went, and we didn't want to do all traveling because we wanted to be able to spend time with Charity. But they have flowers all over the place. It was beautiful to be able to see the flowers and trees in bloom while we were there. But I wanted to just close just reminding us about Charity and her ministry. It's not all just lush and enjoyment and hiking and going around with your parents and eating out all the time. And she is really involved in her church. Not only her church, but her Eccle Musica ministry that she has. Her desire is to be able to help the French-speaking people understand the importance of music and how corporately they can worship through music in the local church. A lot of those churches don't have pianists that can play for them during the service, so they have online courses where they're teaching people. Currently, they have 22 students enrolled in their online piano lesson course with 11 teachers throughout France. And so it's really helping those local churches out. This conference, as Ginger mentioned this weekend, was to help train people to be able to lead music within the church. And so it's one opportunity for the whole church collectively to be involved in worship corporately. And so she is really passionate about that. Her and her co-worker in Echle Musica, her first name is Christy, so we always get them mixed up with her co-workers she's working with in the church, Ed and Sylvia Christie. So we're trying to keep them all separated. They're working together on that, the vision of having these different workshops and conferences at different churches throughout France. And so they travel around for that and then try and have one big conference in the fall of the year, every year. And then the ministry that she has there in the local church, she'll go over and visit a lot of these people in their homes. She'll have them into her home. And she is just constantly busy being involved in people's lives. And so we were just excited to be able to see that as her parents, but also as a missionary that we support, to be able to see that they're not just over there enjoying the country, they're involved in the ministry. And it's sad that there are missionaries that are just enjoying the country where they're at and not involved in the ministry. And so we're thankful for Charity's ministry, where God has directed her and the opportunities that she has. Lord willing, she'll be able to get time next year to come back for furlough. She is still working on the details for that, because her other co-worker in Echle Musica is also planning on next year, so they're trying to work out the logistics on that to see how that'll work out. But we do have plenty of other pictures, but we don't have them here. But we just wanted to thank you all from her. Many of you support her. Many of you are in contact and communication with her. You pray for her. You let her know that. And she is just very thankful to be able to have a church family that's back here praying for her. So I thank Pastor for the opportunity of sharing our ministry, or our trip over there with you all. And just from our hearts, we want to just say thank you. So, Michael, if you want to give directions now for our...
Thank you for that encouraging report. And thank you all for the food